Okay. I had a serious issue last week with my sound not working properly. Alright, let's get ourselves on camera. Hello, how are you? I'm going to turn down my music just a little bit. Now, I have mentioned in my last stream and just now before the Twitch audience came back that there was some issues with sound, that my voice could not be heard so low. So if at any point I'm sitting here and I'm talking really low like this, and I do tend to talk low and a little chill through art because I'm just not the kind of artist that needs to hold brushes between my toes while doing cartwheels in front of a canvas. That could be a disaster. This is true. So I don't know if you can see this behind me, but this is the painting that I was working on last week. I took the tape off, and I'll bring this over to my desk so that everybody can have a good look. And it looks very different in the light away from the camera than it does actually on camera. So let's get a good look at what that is. All right, and Freddie hasn't joined us yet, so I hope she's inside. I did let her out. I let her out. Did I bring her back in? Oh, well, Jack will get her. That's okay. All right. She could also be hanging out in the bedroom. All right, so this is upside down. I'm just gonna turn this. I'm not gonna work on it like this, but this is kind of what it looks like from sideways. It's a little green up here. I'm not quite sure I like that green, but then again, I did want it kind of darker. I wanted it to be not this stark yellow, and the color is just not represented properly on my camera. So let me see if I can shed some light. Yes, Freddie is inside. I can hear her. The little scamp. All right. So let me see what I can do about getting this camera angle up. Nope, I think we are. Let's see. Ah, there we go. I've turned off the auto white balance so that maybe, just maybe, and since I'll probably be working on it like this for the most part, camera angles are always such a headache for me. Because I want to work on this some more. This needs this needs some love, this area right here. And I think I need to brighten up all of this before I put Fred down. And when I say put Fred down, I mean put her on the canvas. I don't want anybody to freak out that I'm gonna put my dog down. That would be bad. Okay, that works for me right there, and I might end up turning this. Let's see what we got going. Yeah, and I'm gonna rotate this a bit. Yeah, I want you to be able to see what I see. And I might actually get in a little closer. But not too close. Let's start this over. Here we go. A little easier to see. Alright, so we have some yellowy stuff here. It's a little more yellow than I wanted it to be, but it works out. I need this to be brighter. So I might try doing like a yellow, a white, like a golden white maybe, very thin over the top of it. I'm taking a huge risk with this particular kind of color. But I just really, really, really want this to turn out the way that I'm envisioning it. So what's the opposite of blue? That would be red. No, it would be orange. Orange is the opposite of blue. So maybe, yeah, a little bit of golden. So I'm going to find myself some mixing white and some water. I'm going to set this aside and we're going to mix ourselves some paint. I'll leave this here while I go grab stuff. So as long as you can hear me, I'm good. If you can't hear me, put a little something in the chat and I will make an adjustment and then we can get back to chilling. Now these are the colors that I was using initially, and they're still wet and I can still use them, but I'm not going to. I just wanted to get an idea of this because this is kind of the opposite of what this is. It provides an interesting contrast. Plus, it has been mixed and has been standing by for quite some time. And instead of messing up my entire canvas, I'm going to put it over here somewhere. Like right behind me, so you can kind of see it. All right, let's mix. Now, one of the things that I have is I have so many different types of white acrylic paint. And this one right here is called transparent mixing white, and it has less of an impact on lightening the color. It does lighten the color, but it's just not, the pigment is less intense, whereas if I needed to cover something, I would use the heavy body stuff. We're not using the heavy body stuff tonight. I also have this Graham & Co. titanium white. It's, I don't think this stuff ever gets old, but right now the stuff that's in my budget is the Liquitex. So, and don't get on my case. I know I paid too much for this one, but I needed it, so I bought it. Alright, let's see what we can get out of this. And I'm going to try mixing a few different colors before moving on to trying it out on the painting. The big thing is to create a new base that brightens it up a little bit. I'll try it someplace where nobody will notice. So, and if I ruin it, I ruin it. That's just how it is, you know? When you're experimenting with stuff and trying a new technique, or you're trying to play with color and composition, you're going to come out with some stinkers. I mean, some serious stinkers. But you got to let those happen. You can't learn anything if you don't make a mistake or two, or 7, or 95. Let me get in a little closer on that. Yay! I was hoping I had a special zoom for this, but I don't. The most I can do is obscure my chat a little bit, which is not a big deal. Yeah, let's just get a little big on that. There we go. That's got some pink in it, because that is a red color. That's a reddish. What is that? That's a schmutz right there. We don't need any schmutz in our paint. I think I'm going to add a little bit of yellow to that, because I want it to be more gold than red. Maybe I've got a vermilion in here somewhere. I have a beautiful yellow, but I also have these which are a little more golden, but they're not bright. So I'm gonna see what I can do. I'm gonna see if I can find a bright orange. I know I have one. All right, there we go. I have a... Oh, for Pete's sake, what does it say? Cadmium orange. I don't know why I'm not working with enough light. I need to work with enough light. Getting some schmutz on my palette knife. I do not like this. Where is the schmutz coming from? That is close to the hue I was thinking of. I'm going to add a little more white. That's for pure volume, not so much to lighten it up. So, anyway, I hope that you enjoy art and maybe you learn something. I think I'm thinking about what to do with the stream. Not just the channel, but this particular stream. See if there's something educational that I can do, because I know that I tell everyone what it is I'm doing. I walk you through my process and what's going on in my head. Sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it's inspiring, sometimes it's just my voice. All right, now I'm going to carve off a little spot in my palette here. For a color that's a lot less warm. Something a little cooler light, maybe a little daylight. And I'm going to tell you, I'm doing a lot of this backwards. Because what you want to do is you want to start light and then darken. Because if you darken and then lighten up, things might not go the way you want it to. Now, this doesn't really apply to small highlights. Like if you have something you want to put an outline of where the sun is hitting and brightening a subject. But I'm talking about if you have a shadow. If you have a shadow, you might not want to paint that first. Because it's so much easier to darken things than it is to lighten them up. Oh, I picked up the schmutzy part of that blue. What am I, a schmutz magnet? There we go. I just don't want to get a bunch of white paint into whatever's over there. A much cooler white, with little schmutzy parts in it. Great job, great job. Adding texture. Now, anytime you want something to get super white, you want to add a contrasting color to it. You know how when you get your hair done, or if you get your hair done, what you want to do is, where are we? What you want to do is they'll bleach your hair, and it turns out gold because when you have a lot of pigment, it can't all come out. Your hair pigment cells, the stuff that make your hair color what it is, it would have to die, and then you would have no color in your hair, and you could be okay. But if you're coloring your hair white, you want to counter that white with something, I mean the yellow of your hair with something, and so you end up with like your colorist will put like a violet rinse. Not violent, not violins, a violet. Violet. Like the color, like the flower. And that will cool down and counter that golden, brassy look. Same thing for buttercream. But in this case, it's yellow butter, and then you put like just the tiniest drop of a violet food coloring in it. Any more than that, you end up with gray. Nobody wants gray frosting. Just don't. No, just no. Okay, so I have these two. See if I have something that is a nice soft brush, and I don't think I have a soft brush. This is the softest big one I have. I'm going to see if I've got another one. This one is soft, but it's also got some crunchy parts on it, so it wouldn't necessarily be a soft stroke. That, and it looks like it might be something close to like a natural fibers, and I don't want to do that with acrylic. Alright, so I will do this instead, and I might end up using my fingers to soften some things up. So first, let me get out another palette so that when I put a medium and maybe a little bit of water in it, it's not going to completely screw up everything. I think if it's going to screw up anything, it can do it by itself. Right? Just do it by itself. I don't know if I want to use this. I want to use something I can see. Actually, this should be fine. Alright, let's put the Stay Wet palette away. I always feel so elementary when I use these, because when I was tutoring, we had lots of these and they all had different colors in them. But you know what? Any place that allows you to mix your colors the way you want, that's a good palette. Like I have this one, but you know, I find that this only really works well for me if I'm using a palette knife exclusively. Alright, let's see if this one's got schmutz. We don't want schmutz on our palette knives. Dang it. Okay. First. Yep, looks like I got some fibers in this one. Dang it. Save your natural fibers for watercolor. The paint is lighter weight and... Oh, that's great. Look at that. Last week when I was gessoing some canvases, I was cleaning up afterwards, and it had been probably an hour since the stream ended. And I found gesso in a big splotch on my black hoodie, my favorite black hoodie. Nobody died. And I take a lot of these paint mishaps as kind of like battle scars almost. I'm proud of them. But I also really like my hoodie. I like my hoodie, and I don't want it to be ruined. So I washed a bunch of it out, and now it has just a framework of a gesso stain. I don't have gesso on my hoodie. I just have a framework of a gesso. All right. I need to set this where it's not going to end up all over the back of my canvas. Fun, right? I have a confession to make. Oh, goodness. Me and my little princess noises. I hate wearing headphones. I hate it. I hate wearing headphones so much. But I can't tell what my levels are if I'm not wearing them. And I don't really get to hear what the music is without it. So I'm going to move my chat over a little bit. And if it overlaps, it overlaps. And let's get this camera up. I don't have an issue with headphones themselves. I've worn these headphones pretty consistently for over a year. And the issue that I have is that if I wear them for more than half an hour, my sinuses start to feel it. It's very bizarre. Now this is my golden glazing liquid. It was recommended to me by another Pacific Northwest artist in the area named Justin Hillgrove. His website is Imps and Monsters. And, you know, if you've been in this area or around the Pacific Northwest, maybe California a bit, he shows up at any of the art shows with his fun little I had a sticker of his. Very nice, very fun. Okay, I'm going to start with a small brush, and I'm going to see how far I get with that. I know I said I have a big brush, I needed a big brush, but I often have second thoughts, so that's what I'm going to do. Now what Justin does is he will draw his composition, transfer it to his canvas with pencil, and then do his acrylics in very, very light layers. This way he can control the light and the dark. It takes a lot of patience. It really does. Let's see. Yeah, that's brightened it up a little bit. this part right here, it looks like it's been taped off at one point. I don't know what the heck that is. I'm going to give it a little bit of shape with my light, maybe soften that up. Now this part right here, where I've been going up and down, it looks really shiny because the light is shining off of it a weird way. But when I take the light down, let me see if I can take the light down a little bit. This is the problem with the gloss. Going up and down has accentuated some of these little wrinkles that go up and down here. And that's kind of what I'm doing there. Let me see if I can show you on the original photo. Because we've pulled the quilting up, there are these little wrinkles that go vertical. And there are some vertical ones here and then horizontal ones. It's just a subtle nod to the texture of the quilting. It's good to see you, Beach Doggy. Thank you for joining me. Okay, so the light is not ideal for me, but I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. And there's still a bunch of stuff that I have not even tried to do, like this is becoming quite dark over here where it is lightened up over on the other side. I want to keep that light. Maybe even go over a couple of things with some extra of this cool white. This cool white that has been made with the blue that I actually painted the overall color of this little quilted topping, I guess. I'm going to zoom back in and see if I can make this a little more detail oriented. Here we go. One of the nice things about this gloss, this glaze that I'm using, is that everything dries very, very, very slow. So if I want to try something out and it doesn't quite work for me, I just tap on it, maybe take a little piece of cloth or a tissue. I'll have to go over that part differently. It's not exactly the way that I'd planned it, but you let it work out for you. So I'm just gonna let the painting tell me what it needs me to do. And I don't do a lot of realism. I don't really want to. I mean, I want my stuff to look good, but I also don't want anybody to look at my paintings and go, oh, my kid could do that. How rude. You know. But there's one at every gallery opening. My kid could do that. Okay, Margaret, you just make sure your kid's got that painting in the next art show, okay? I'm pretty sure that Tanner is not one for patience with what it takes to do something even so simple and representative as this. How much of this got on my painting? None of it. But hey, I don't have to mix this as much as I was going to. That's a big old whoops right there, waiting to happen. Now I need to find that big brush again. Where did that big brush go? That's not it. Is it? Well, you know, it wouldn't be one of my streams if something hadn't hit the floor. So I'm just going to pretend that this brush is the one I was using. And now we're going to turn it, we're going to rotate it 180, and we're going to see if we can get some sunlight, just a wash, like along this area right here. You can see that there is, right here, there's some shade right behind the sofa there. But there is There's shinier bits in the middle of the paneling that I want to catch. And maybe a couple of things that need to pan out on the stars. I'm going to clean up my palette a little bit since yuck. See, I don't have a sink in here, so I'm just making do with tissues. I mean, I'm trying to keep this family friendly, but that's just... I can't help it. At heart, I'm 13 years old and giggly. All right, now just like what I did with the light cool white, I'm going to take the warm white and I'm going to mix it with some water and some gloss extender medium. I swear this is not the paintbrush I was using before. I needed something that was soft, and I didn't have soft, so now I have something softer. Just as a side note, I am not a painter. I'm an illustrator and a comics artist. I do a number of personal projects, trying to figure out where my niche is. So when it comes to a Wednesday night art stream, I wanted to do something that didn't make me talk quite so much. And I think, a little lo-fi and some painting, give you a little bit of focus, something to hang out with. And at this point, I need to relax, let the layers happen, that kind of thing. Now from my angle, it's lightening up quite a bit on this side. But I have that glare, and I'm not quite sure where to put my lights to keep it from glaring, while still allowing you to see exactly what's going on. I'm at that catch-22 where if I put my lights too low, how do I see it? I need to quit putting paintbrushes down. For the record, I don't use expensive brushes. Why? I try to use brushes that are of a quality that keeps the fibers from showing up in little bits in my paint. I mean, you do get what you pay for. But do you really want to pay that much? Not the effect I wanted on that particular spot. But I'm just going to go with it. Let's just go with it. All the brightness I wanted to catch is over here. So I'm kind of happy to just add it this way. This over here doesn't have to be bright, but over here I want it to be a little brighter. Because there's no harsh lines. It's just a general sense of we're looking through a window. We're looking through a window and we're seeing some nice happy dusk light. Oh, got a little crazy there. How dare you? Go get it, Freddie. Go get it. Go get it. Oh, she's 2 steps ahead of me. This is usually dinner time for the animals. And twice a week, I don't have to feed them their supper. 'Cause I'm here with you. I do a little music something on Mondays. And she sits out there and she listens. I keep her on the screen because it's kind of nice to have a little dog around. Okay. All right, I want to give everybody a reminder that you should probably stretch should probably stretch and maybe make sure that you've got water. This is especially important if you have fallen asleep with me in your ear, maybe in an easy chair. I'd get up, but I've been stretching all day. Okay. I'm going to try mixing one more light color. And then we will move on to see what we can do about this part right here. Right there. Okay. So while I'm getting this all set up to do some nice tippity tapping, paint mixing, subscribing is free on YouTube right now. And if you want to hit a follow on Twitch, I would greatly appreciate it. And I'll tell you a cute little story. Actually, it's not a cute story, it's just a story. Nothing fancy. As I scrape the old white off of this tile. This channel on YouTube was originally created for my band, the Trouble Fakers. Trouble Fakers were a rock pop, power pop outfit out of Seattle. And if you look around, there are some performance videos. I mean, I was pretty proud of what we did with the band. But some griefers online made it very difficult for me to post a lot. Otherwise, I probably would have a lot more music on the YouTube channel. And when we all went our separate ways just before COVID, I really didn't have a whole body of work, and I have not returned to performing. Not yet. I just do it here on the internet and for my own pleasure. And since I had this particular handle on YouTube, I was grandfathered in for a name change, but all of our albums had Trouble Fakers HQ as, how to find us on YouTube. And I learned a little too late that I can't go back to my old name on Facebook, which is probably fine because it's Facebook. If you want an argument, go to Facebook. Maybe I should clarify. If you want an argument with someone who is, I don't know, your great-grandfather's age, go to Facebook. But I let that lapse, and so every social media thing I've had has been under Wynne Blue. So you can find me on Threads and Instagram. I canceled my Twitter account a long time ago because I wasn't using it. I did sign up for Blue Sky though. But when it comes to social media, if people aren't interacting with you, you don't use the platform very much. Plus, we are in a, what do we want to call it? An analog renaissance. And people are returning to the days when their necks were not sore from looking down at their phone constantly. They're turning away from the internet as a full source of entertainment and social activity, and I can get behind that. Because right now, the only things that I do on screens is this. Maybe some short films and educational stuff. I love learning stuff on the YouTube. That's how I fixed my car. And I'm really glad that I found more than just a couple of videos on how to do that particular thing. Because I tell you what, I did not have the hand strength. I simply did not. And only one of them suggested what kind of tools I needed. So those of you on Twitch, you're going to have an opportunity to get up and walk around, stretch, get hydrated, because I got an ad that's about to pop up in about a minute. YouTubers can hang out, because I'll be here. I'm not getting up and taking my break. Art is serious business. So I have a rust color with my mixing white. That is not as dark as I would like for it to be. I just want it to be, well, I'm probably going to dilute this with the extender glaze. Yep. That looks like the same color as my nose. Or my hand. Whew. Had to get some coughing in there. Whew. Alright, here's what I'm using. Slow drying extender for acrylic colors. If there's a matte one, I have not looked for it. I'd love a matte one. I don't like too much glossy. Now this one is a bit darker than the other two, which are a little more subtle. And that's mainly because I don't plan on using it in a high concentration. But when I do, it needs to look bright. Okay? Because we're going to go on those stars. And that would be these right here. And it's not focusing the way I want it to. Come on, focus. I'm going to pull out my phone for a moment. I was told the other day that it was poor form to put the screen of my cell phone on camera. I'm like, what? So here we go. Let's see if I can get this to pop the way I want it to. See, when you get really close to that, there are parts that have shadows and light, and I don't want it to be too detailed, but I want to know where the light is. Same with this guy. I want to know where the light is. Yeah, so that's what we're gonna move towards. But we have to make sure that we have all our brushes clean. Let me tell you, you can sit there and think you can soak out acrylic paint because acrylic paint is just plastic. No, once it cures on your brush, you can try, but you're going to be using a flea comb on that. And then your brush will never be the same. So even though these aren't great brushes, they still come in handy for other things like big clunky strokes on other projects. I'm going to make sure that it's clean. Okay, let's move some stuff around so we can get that canvas back over here. Are you hydrating? It's kind of important. Now I know you saw the picture that I just did, that I just showed you, the photograph on my phone. Come on, let's see it. The photograph on my phone, and you'll notice that I've painted kind of a big thing right here. I'm not going to correct it. Mainly because I don't want to. I don't care. But it's going to be the same thing. So I'm going to try and give this a little bit of body. I'm probably also going to paint over this. So we'll try that. I should have gloves on, I swear. This may or may not work. I'm warning you right now. This is not how I expected it to turn out. I feel like there should be richer color in there. So let's see if I can get this to pop up for you. I was hoping for a little more color, but it looks like there's light on it, so it can't be too bad. Remember, what you see as the consumer of art, as someone absorbing the art, you don't see the same thing that the artist does. And I can't remember the name of the artist who gifted, like, a head of state one of their paintings. But he had someone follow him around at the showing because he would have it up in his house and they'd have a party. Oh, let's celebrate this. This is one of my favorite pieces, blah, blah, blah. Now let's all go have cocktails. And they would all go have cocktails, except for the artist, who had a stash of paintbrushes and such in his coat. Someone caught him and he could not be alone in the house. He must have an escort. And that is the sort of thing that many of us modern artists want to do, but we do not, because we don't want some rando assigned by the residents to follow us around to make sure we don't paint our own paintings. I wish I could remember what artist that was. It's not a well-known story. I don't know why. Because every artist I have ever read about, either during my education or during my pursuit of the arts, never have I ever heard of an artist who was just this normal person. They all had something either tragic about them or something unresolved that they worked through their art. All right, let's see what I can do right here. Let's see. Now, I don't think you can see it because I can't get it on camera very well. Maybe I can. But this right here, I had taped the edge to paint the rest of it, and I did not tape it well enough here. So I need to figure out where that color is and put it back on. I don't think it's the burgundy that's in this, but I'm going to check anyway. Worth a shot. What do you think? This is hardly going to be a decent mask, but I have to do something just for this. finding the edge of any tape. Come on, you. Is that it? No? No? Oh, the temptation. To tear this from limb to limb to find just the edge. Tape. It's what's for dinner. I keep inviting my sister to come and watch these. I mean, it's not like anybody is taking notes. I'm just here hanging out. It's like watching somebody play video games, but with less violence. Less violence and shorter stories. And also, less jump scares. You will not find any jump scares while watching me do art. I guarantee it. And at that point in time, her husband jumped in and said, "Hey, Wynne, blah, 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 blah." And she jumped out of her skin. I asked my husband a couple of weeks ago, I said, "Were you watching my stream?" Because, he's on a computer in another room, and it was a music stream. He says, "Oh, yeah." I said, "Well, what did you think? How did it sound?" He says, "Well, it's kind of hard to tell since I can hear you playing in the other side of the house. And there's a delay." So I just kept it on. And I didn't listen. I just lurked with no noise. I'm like, "Yay, thanks." But you know what? If he can hear me going on, then wonderful. I lucked out. That is the right color. But I tell you what, this Stay Wet, it must have been tilted or something, because this is not as wet as it probably could be. Alright, looking good. I'm just happy it's the same color. Look at me here, tempting fate. Oh, I'm going so close to the edge. Oh, living dangerously. So dangerously. Dangerous. Up here, I'm playing it safe with tape. But not over here. Nope. This is the adventure. Oh, I can hardly stand it. All right. Well, I hope you're having a good night. I'm enjoying myself. I assure you I'm far noisier on Monday nights. But if you like watching somebody do art, whether it's painting, illustrating with pencil and paper, colored pencils, ink, even some digital ink, that's me. That's me on Wednesdays. I've had people look at me funny when I tell them I do one thing on one day and one thing on another. I need to focus. I don't feel like focusing. Let's focus. Here we go. tell you, if I felt like focusing, I wouldn't be doing things on 2 different nights. And I think time will tell whether I'm doing this full-time or the music full-time, or if I'm doing both. I don't really have aspirations for YouTube streaming or Twitch streaming to be my full-time job. But I'm told it helps. Okay. Is this the... my short-term memory is shot. If you're not getting enough sleep at night, take a nap. Go to bed a little earlier. Go to bed a little earlier. Okay, let's get this dog. Come on, focus. Focus. Yeah, there we go. That's a space for a little dog. What's our little dog supposed to look like? Aw, so cute. It's a little overexposed, I don't care. And just so you know what you're getting into when you watch me do this, that's Fred. She turned 10 last week. 10 years old. Good girl, Freddie. That's where you can find her on Instagram. She doesn't post a lot. But when she does, it's fire. All right, I'm taking my Posca acrylic marker. I'm going to clean up a little bit here. I would rather paint the dog on top of the background, but you still need a white background to paint a white dog. Yes. Oh, look, my little zine making thing. Doop doop. And she's got this fun little dip in her ear. I don't know if I'll be able to cover up that blue, but we'll try. Now, what did I just say about no jump scares? I said there were no jump scares in this stream, and I just had one. So, a word to the wise, kids. Do not put your paint palette on a surface that slopes. I got lucky this time. Last time I wasn't quite so lucky when it hit the floor. It went paint side down, and now I have permanent blue and yellow marks in my hardwood. But that's okay, because it is art. All property damage is good with art. I'm kidding, but not really. Oh yes, your sellers are very motivated. This used to be their art studio. Oh my. These floors. Is this the original color? Maybe? All right then. Okay, we've carved ourselves out some space. We've gotten rid of some smudges from painting the background. All right. Did I do that? I don't know what to do about that, but at least I still have the paint. I still have the paint on hand so that I can actually fill in that color if I need to. Now let's see what we can do here. I'm going to take some of my titanium white and I'm going to paint the rest of this in titanium white. Just these areas so that it's even. Putting this white on top of the white, because when I used the Posca marker, I only did patches. And that leaves for an uneven surface. So while it's still kind of damp, I'm going back over it with the regular acrylic, and that will even out the surface and make everything the same color. A good solid base to put my dog on. Okay. I don't think I need to put any more white down. I mean, to me, I can see the difference where the Liquitex is and where the Posca was. I can see it, but it may be different once I get some color on there. I want to show you something interesting about color bleed. As soon as I wash my brush here, I have a couple of canvases from a friend of mine. Well, she buys a lot of canvases. You know, if you like to paint, you buy canvases. The alternative is to stretch your own. But the canvases that she bought were paint by number, and she and her kid did them. And when you want to repurpose a canvas, you give it a good sanding. And this is a couple of coats. It looks fine, right? You might be able to see some of the color through that, but another bit of sanding, a couple of other coats of gesso, it should be good to go for a new painting. But this one had a lot more paint on it and Sharpie. Sharpie is very, very difficult to gesso over. And these parts right here, that's where there was very thick, very dry paint put on it. So I'm going to have to find some way of getting past this texture. I'm sure I'll figure it out, but this is just 2 coats. So if you like using your canvases, or if you're repurposing a canvas, Sharpie does not get covered. It bleeds through gesso. Strangely, it's not on this side. But if I want to cover it, I'm out of luck. I'm going to keep working on this. And then maybe next week, we'll have a nice white canvas to put lots and lots of stuff on. Okay. Where were we? I think I need a pencil so that I can draw out what I'm going to put right here to make it look like this. Gonna go back to our old friend, the pencil. This is nothing special. It's just a cheap Halloween party favor from Target, whose biggest flaw is that it doesn't like to be sharpened. We're going to make it sharpen. There. Let's see if, because it's not a perfect translation from photograph to canvas, we're gonna have some interesting shading going on. Okay, I really wish you could see this pencil. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to find my grays, and I'm going to put some gray down. At least with my pencil I am. Oh. I didn't tell my Twitch people that they're in an ad break. So quick, if YouTube has any questions, you can go ahead and put them in the chat. And if you already have, and I haven't seen them, try again. Or, you can make a comment on the video. Make a comment on a post. I put a post up on my YouTube page. I'm still pretty new to the whole YouTube streaming thing, so I'm having fun. I really am. A lot of people I know, they are very much tired of signing up for more accounts everywhere. You want to look at something, you start an account. You want to post a message, you start an account. You want a credit card, you want a bank account, all these things. Pretty soon we get tired of signing up. And everybody has access to YouTube. Not everybody has access to Twitch. And there are some pretty cool things about Twitch versus YouTube. But as long as I can do both like I'm doing here, I should be fine. Okay. Let's come over here for this. Okay. I'm going to stretch for a minute. I'm on the West Coast. A lot of people in the East Coast of the US or Canada, they're going to bed now. I'm grateful for my East Coast friends. My European friends, and those everywhere in between and around. There we go. I think we're ready to put some stuff down. So for a minute here, I would like to look at something. Getting a camera on this thing has always been so challenging. All right. Let me see if I can get this to go up. Nope. Sorry for any seasickness. So this is what I have. And I really need to move this camera over. Okay. And moving the camera over and knocking over my monitor. That's lovely. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get it where I want it. But anyway, this is the painting. It's not done yet, because right after I do this part, I get to go up here and do our friend the eagle. Little stylized, little by little, putting it all together. So my friends, it's a little late for me. I know I'm on the West Coast, and it's only 8:30 here, but I do still have obligations for the evening. I want you to know that I love you all. It was so nice to see you. And if you're watching this afterwards and you hung out with me and listened to my silly little stories, I want you to know that it was fun. It was fun for me. I hope it was fun for you. And I'm going to see if I've got a little something that I can work with. And before we do this, let's come back. Let's look at Freddie for a few minutes. She's got her little face out. She's so sad. Actually, no, she's just very, very patient. She's a very, very patient girl. very, very patient. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to look around and see what's going on here. I've got somebody who's doing some painting. Oh, sweet girl. She's such a sweet girl, Freddie. I usually go on a little longer, but I do have some obligations this evening that I need to take care of. My name is Wynne Blue. I am a musician and an artist out of Seattle, Washington. And if you are in Washington, I'm from the Seattle metropolitan area. And if you are a Seattle purist, I'm in Bothell. So try not to hold it against me, okay? So let's see if we can go look at some fun stuff over in another place. As always, I love you and I want you to be happy. I want you to take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Take care of someone else and let somebody take care of you. We are all on this planet together and we are not getting off anytime soon. So, let's do that. We're going to head over. Our Twitch folks, we're going to go over to Mama Talks. We got a little something going on. We're going to go over there. And with my YouTube friends, I'll be with you in just a sec, but I want to make sure that we've got everything going. So if you have any questions or you want to learn anything from me, you're welcome to send me a whisper on Twitch. You can always send me a message on YouTube. I am at wynne@troublefakers.com. And we are going to have a grand time next week when we do some more music. But if you want to do a little music first, it's Monday. I'll be here next Wednesday doing art, okay? So we got a raid going. Looks like a really fun painting going on. Okay? I love you. I want you to be good, okay?